Welcome to Shift Change, where we're already on a 4-on-3 power play in overtime. There's 4 of us here, and a lot of guys missing tonight, but we still have a great show for you coming up. We have Brandon, we have Nicole, we have Dave, and I'm Elijah Weintraub. How are we all doing tonight?
Good. Doing good. I can't complain. Just ready to start another work week, first of all.
I just ended my shift moments ago, so.
Yeah.
Already starting the week strong, as you can say.
Yeah.
Nicole, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you, Eli?
Doing great. Dave, how's it going?
Oh, damn it.
Oh, no.
And it looks like we're back to the 3-on-3 power play, folks.
Kind of a bigger. Great. Yeah, hope I'm still cutting.
All right.
I hope I'm still coming clearly.
All right, well, you're still coming in for now. Okay.
We're gonna keep our fingers crossed. So
we have our fingers crossed. All right, so we got a couple topics on the table for tonight. So let's kick it off with Jack Hughes and Saturday Night Live. Well, last night, of course, Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes appeared along with the women of Megyn Kelly and crew on Saturday Night Live. They joined Connor on the opening monologue. Hughes also appeared on the Pat McAfee show on Friday, and I think possibly one of his best interviews in a long time. Before we get into the Pat McAfee interview with Jack Hughes, let's talk about Saturday Night Live. Who was up till 11:30 last night watching Saturday Night Live? Let's be honest. 2 people out of the 4. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you 2. Okay. 3.
Dave, somewhat, yeah.
Dave, somewhat. All right, because I did not. It knocked out right to bed from working. And I was like, all right, I'll watch it the next day, the highlights and stuff. But they were pretty good. Jack just, was reading off a cue card, so not much else new. But what did you think of the crew on Saturday Night Live?
Pretty cool. I mean, it's like I didn't expect much. Obviously, I mean, I think when we were on Discord last night watching it, kind of like having a watch party for it.
Yep.
We kind of expected them to at least be in like one more skit after that, maybe.
Yeah.
To do something different, but I mean, just to have them there is good enough. I guess that's pretty cool because you don't really see a lot of athletes come on SNL anymore. So, I mean, and to have it be special like that, for the whole kind of the hockey theme last night, having Connor on, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And of course having the both the men's and women's the 4 of the members on. So it was really cool. I just kind of wish that they did something a little extra. I feel like they kind of just. I mean, but then again, I don't blame them too. They got busy schedules. I mean, especially
but
the
they
guys.
were there the whole show though.
Yeah, but I would figure that maybe they just don't want to because acting is not
their cup of tea.
Yeah, it's definitely not Jack's cup of tea either.
Right, especially Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, I mean, just I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I might have just been too hopeful. I guess expecting a little more, but I don't know. It wasn't bad.
And before I get to Nicole next, and this is something I said to her, I thought they were initially going to be on Weekend Update. I didn't expect them to be in the monologue because Weekend Update is where it usually lasts the longest portion of the show, and that's where they can really sort of let loose and get all the laughs in. I felt like they were on very short and not as long. I really expected them to be on Weekend Update singing with the crew, but I guess with the whole war going on right now, I think that had to probably be the center stage and mostly the focus, which I guess makes sense. But still, Nicole, I'll go to you next as you looks like you have a curling iron in your hand. Oh, it's a light. Okay.
It fell off.
Oh, I see.
We had a little bit of
I thought that was a curling iron. I'm like, is that a curling iron? Okay.
No.
I know you were watching Saturday Night Live. Did you expect more from them last night? What did you think of it? Tell us about it.
So, as someone who does not watch Saturday Night Live, I wasn't really sure what to expect, to be honest. I was excited, though, to see that Quinn and Jack and Megyn and Hillary were brought in for the opening monologue, which is kind of crazy because you would think that they would wait till later on in the show to show them. I thought Quinn and Jack were funny, especially because it looked like Jack didn't really know what to do. And then the joke that Hillary made after what happened last week, I thought that was a really good way to tie it all back in. And it just shows, though, that they are all friends and there's no bad blood, so to say. I was hoping, though, that given that they made Jack fly from St. Louis to New York and then take a helicopter, LaGuardia to the studio, I thought that they would have had him more involved in Quinn. I pretty much watched the entire show until it ended, and they only showed him and Quinn and the girls in their PWHL jerseys at the very end of the show. So I think that was a missed opportunity there, that they could have been more involved, especially, trying to get more of that hockey audience into the NHL and, maybe spread the awareness more about hockey in America.
And before we get to Dave, I think the problem is with their appearance, it came on, I think, at the worst time, because you have a host of Connor, and then you have almost a Rockefeller Center ice skating sketch with Hudson Williams, the crew from Heat and Rivalry. The crowd goes nuts, and I think as somebody who watches the clips from SNL quite a lot on the weekends, I think that possibly was the loudest I think I've heard the crowd in a long time, for not even the host coming out there to be part of a sketch. And I think it was hard to compete with those two being there. These two are, pretty much the stars of television now because of their show and Heated Rivalry. So yeah, I mean, I think it definitely was tough for them, I guess you could say, to compete with that. Dave, I'll go to you. What did you think of last night?
Well, first of all, am I working?
You're working fine, yeah. You're going to
working fine? Okay. Okay, well, first of all, I didn't know if Jack was going to get there or not to start it off, because to play a game and then go on Saturday Night Live is a lot to ask for when it comes to athletes. And I haven't watched Saturday Night Live in the Super Bowl. But as you said, Elijah, I would have loved to see on weekend up accomplishment as well as the women that were with Quinn. So
you're going in and out again. But maybe try. I would recommend maybe joining from your phone if you can, if your battery's charged up, because it does not look like it's working out for your other computer. But we appreciate your thoughts though for that moment there.
I'm glad that Dave mentioned that though, because that's what that's what Nicole thought. Like that's what a lot of us thought as we were watching it last night. Like they made mention of the Olympics literally on the weekend update, and I was like,
why don't they have them on?
Yeah, like that was weird to me, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely felt weird that they didn't bring them on weekend update. I think they probably should have, honestly. But again, like I said, I think tough competition because you have the two biggest stars of TV from Heated Rivalry, and I think that's how a lot of people watched last night. I have a good feeling, because remember this was an announcement about Jack and Quinn that came later on in the week before the whole hosting stuff announced. So when they knew, who Connor was and the hosting stuff, they obviously figured, okay, Hudson's going to be there because 1 + 1 is 2. Both Heated Rivalry, they have to be there. Then when you had Jack and stuff, then all the NHL hockey fans and all the Jack and Quinn people, and of course the women's crew, they obviously then joined in to watch the show too. So it's going to be a high-rated episode this weekend, and I think it had to do with who the host was, the show, and of course the stars from the PWHL, NHL, and of course the Olympics. And I think that's just the bottom line. Switching gears now off of Saturday Night Live, which of course was a great show. Let's go now to Jack Hughes' full interview with Pat McAfee. It possibly was one of his best interviews in, quite frankly, a long time. Now, some of the things that we were saying in our group chat was maybe it's because Pat McAfee paid for the bill. Maybe it was because Pat McAfee is just a chill show. It really could be a bunch of things. But what was your original? I'm going to start with Nicole because I know she was watching like me from the very beginning. I think probably one of the only times I think I've watched the Pat McAfee in full on cable television for the full 2 hours, besides watching clips. So, Nicole, what were your thoughts on his interview? What can you tell us?
I was really excited to see Jack on the Pat McAfee show, mostly because we don't really get to see this side of Jack too much on the Devil's side. And I think he was really comfortable with this because he wasn't being bombarded by many media outlets trying to, stir the pot, so to say. Pat let him talk. He got to share his experience of how it felt to, get that game winning goal, how it felt to just be involved in the Olympic Village and stuff. And the one thing that really stuck out to me was how he talked about his parents and how much that they sacrificed to get not just him, but his brothers Luke and Quinn into the NHL as well. He pretty much said it's pretty much an honor to get just one boy into the NHL, let alone three. So it's a big accomplishment on their part, and it just shows how much they've put in to, sacrifice to get their boys to the dream that they wanted to accomplish one day. It was just amazing. I've never seen him so humble. Like, if you compare other media interviews that the Devils do, Jack doesn't look like he wants to be there. With the Pat McAfee show, though, it was a complete 360, and part of me wonders if, this Olympic gold medal experience has changed him for the better, and he's starting on a whole new foot now. I mean, he's not just a New Jersey Devil now, he's an American hero.
Yeah, and he'll be remembered as a legend for a long time. Before I get to their two thoughts, you guys' thoughts, I want to add, though, one thing that did stick out to me was when he said to Quinn, he told us on Pat McAfee's show, he said to Quinn right before bed, imagine scoring the game-winning goal, and then they go to bed right after that, and then the next morning that happens. That just it gave him chills, Pat McAfee. It gave me chills. I'm like, oh my god! I just started jumping off of me. That's the sports story. That's the headline right there. This is just, they knew all along. This is like the perfect sign coming together.
Yep.
And I think Jack did grow for the better, but not in terms of playing hockey, because he ain't doing so well right now with the Devils 3 games back into the season. I think he's just too focused on the Olympic Saturday Night Live. He's got the Tonight Show coming up on Monday. I think he's got a lot on his plate. But Brandon, I'll go to you. What did you think of his interview? What stood out to you? And yeah.
As somebody that's watched Pat's show for years, because I've been watching it since he was on just YouTube, just a bunch of guys, sitting around and talking sports. Now, of course, they're a little more, buttoned up now because they're on ESPN. They got more of a platform now. They have to kind of be a little bit more wary of what they say. But Pat's an athlete. Pat's a former punter for the Colts, so it's I'm glad that he understands how athletes are.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of the people in the media were not former athletes. They don't understand kind of how, playing a sport kind of works. So I'm glad that he kind of, Pat just knows how to talk to different kinds of people and especially different athletes. And the best part about all that is that you make them comfortable. You make them feel like they can open up. And Jack, definitely, you can see that Jack felt probably the most comfortable he ever has in an interview, and probably ever. I don't know if I've seen him, look, more relaxed. But, I think that when it comes to those, kinds of interviews like that, especially when and I said this to you guys, but Jack kind of comes off as standoffish to the, regular, hockey media, and especially in our area. And in our area, it's different. When you're asked so many questions, and a lot of the same questions every single time by team media or by or just by NHL journalists, it becomes grating on you, and you could see that just wasn't having fun with those interviews. And it's good that he's got Pat to kind of, and the recent interviews that he's done, they're asking him kind of just more easygoing questions rather than having trying to bait him into something that's going to be that's going to sound bad. And it's also good that Jack's also had a little bit of that, quote unquote, controversy. It's not real controversy about the thing he was saying, but it's kind of good in a way because you have it where he's kind of now realizing like I can be like I have a bigger platform now, so it's like that he might be more wary of something that he might say, but he's still him. And
Yeah.
a lot. And the thing is, because that controversy has been cleared up, and because people are saying that he really didn't say anything bad or wrong, and people just took it the wrong way. And Pat kind of encouraged that, saying like, hey, "No, like, you're an American hero." Like, and basically Pat, steering him. I want to hear more about your story. I want to hear more about you. I don't want to hear just some, answer you would give to the media. I don't want to hear like basically PR Jack. I want to hear real answers.
Jack.
So, yeah, and Pat's always good at doing that. That's why if there's anything I love about sports media these days, like he's one of the very few shows, maybe one or two, that I enjoy because it's just a bunch of dudes sitting around talking sports, and
not just football, all sports.
And I mean, they always have, especially when they bring on not so much a former athlete but a current athlete, whether that be a wrestler or Jack being in hockey or a basketball player like they did with Tyrese Halliburton was last year. They always have them do like little cool things at the end. Cool to see Jack also attempt that shot for charity, pretty much. And I was like, it was funny seeing Jack kind of have a little bit of a laugh, saying he was nervous about the shot. I'm like, bro, you're like 5 feet from it. It ain't that hard for you. But it's just cool. That whole interview, like it was cool to see everybody for the first time, like because Pat's used to that setting, but Jack isn't. So it's cool to just see Jack just be completely comfortable for once. It didn't feel like he was walking on eggshells. Didn't feel like he was, kind of having to give some PR, goody answer.
Yep.
So it was just good overall to see the real Jack come through. Yeah,
absolutely.
And it was cool to see it happen. So
yeah. And by the way, just to let all panelists know, of course, it's an open discussion. You could talk in any time you want. It's it's an open show. You know that. And for those watching, we are on an overtime power play. 4-on-3 is the current change. The rest are in the penalty box, in case everybody's wondering about our missing panelist.
It's kind of crowded,
It's kind of crowded, that penalty box now. We're thinking about it. Yeah, that's why our logo has only 3 people. It's the missing crew. Dave, we'll go to you. What did you think of the interview? If you could hear us.
I'm trying my best over here, guys. I'm sorry to everybody in the audience watching right now, seeing me pop in and out, or can barely understand.
Try joining your phone if you can. Maybe if that helps.
Say.
Okay, do you hear us?
I got the same result. So I hear you.
Okay. All right. So now that you hear us, what were your thoughts overall, though, about that Hughes interview? If you can hear us, this year in and out again.
It was professional. I didn't. I only saw snippets of it. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't watch the full interview.
Yep. No problem. Yeah.
But it's like I really love the enthusiasm Pat McAfee brings to his show interview. It's like he makes everybody feel welcome, and I think Jack got comfortable in that.
Yep.
And it's like you gotta have fun with it a little bit. Like as we say, Jack's not a interview person, especially when it comes to interviews he does with New Jersey. He's also on the losing skid. Him riding the high for the gold medal, as good as you can get.
Yeah. So how about we do our first shift change of the night? Before we go back to hockey, let's do our first shift change. Let's go ahead and talk about something that's happening today. It's the last day for Rock and Roller Coaster in Hollywood Studios and Disney World. Dave, I know you got a chance to ride it one last time yesterday. Nicole, you sent us photos from when you were on the ride. I don't think I've ever went on the ride, but I remember passing by the area. and listen. Of course, I watched all the YouTube videos, WWNT, and all the other stuff. So Dave, what was it like second to last day of Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith yesterday? What was the experience like? Tell us about that.
Well, it wasn't like how it was today. I can reassure you. To be honest, it was kind of like a normal day at Hollywood Studios. The line was as long as it usually gets for that ride, and I usually ride single rider because if I'm the only one going to the park, I'm not going to wait in a long queue for it. So single is always a good way to go. But just getting in that, just knowing it was your last time going.
It's sad.
Rise of Resistance probably had a shorter wait time.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, but it was sad, wasn't it? Going one last time. I think you can't hear me, but it's okay. All right.
It's the
again going in and out.
Swamp weather Wi-Fi.
So I said it was kind of sad, wasn't it, last night?
Yeah.
Oh, one last time.
Florida Wi-Fi where I am is now. It's just like now.
He's so delayed. It's not even funny. Nicole, I'll go to you.
It's kind of funny because like it's that awkward 10-second beat in between just the question and the answer, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, Dave, stop, please fix the Wi-Fi.
Nicole, I'll go to you.
I don't have control of it.
There it goes. That's a 10-second delay. Nicole, take it from me.
Okay, so I first rode for the only time Rock and Roller Coaster. I think it was either back in 2017 or 2018. I was on a high school trip called the Disney Yes program, and they selected students from my school. I was one of the fortunate ones to go, and we got to learn about all these different activities and stuff, and then afterwards we got to go off and do whatever we wanted. This was pre Hollywood Studios getting the refresh that it has now.
Yes.
I remember wanting to go on Rock and Roller Coaster, but for background context, I am terrified of upside down loops.
And that's exactly that ride. That's the only one in Orlando, in Disney World. Disney World, not Orlando. I was gonna say Disney World.
I barely go on outdoor roller coasters as it is. I just don't like the feeling of my stomach popping out of my chest when I go on roller coasters. But oddly enough, the thing that actually got me on Rock and Roller Coaster was the fact that it was themed to Aerosmith themselves. I mean, it was the opportunity there. I love Aerosmith. Why would I not? So I did, and I sent Eli pictures of what I saw when I was there. And
I did not get a chance to upload it, but I will.
It's okay. It's okay. But there's a picture of me with my eyes closed, holding on for dear life, because
at launch.
Yep. Yeah. That wasn't even at launch. That was just my eyes were closed pretty much the entire time. I barely opened my eyes and I saw the signs going by, but I could barely see anything.
There's not much on the ride.
It's a dark ride. It's a dark ride.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of loops inside.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what makes it good, I guess. Brandon, do you remember going on the ride, or have you gone on the ride? Do you remember?
I never went. I've always passed by it, but I never went. Growing up, I was never a big roller coaster guy, and neither was my family when I used to go. So, but I was never just passing by it, and you can hear it because it would have, Aerosmith's music blasting out of it. It was just it's sad to see people's favorite rides change over time, not so much I guess with Disney, but and some things with Disney have changed over time, but other rides that have gone that people loved for years was Jaws Universal was the everybody went on that ride. It was even though it got old over the years, it was still really cool.
Yeah.
And it was one of the, I think it was one of the original rides that had opened at the Universal Studios in Orlando. So, like, you know, you had that one. That one went. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, it's gone." The Jimmy Neutron ride. Yeah, or like the Jimmy Neutron ride when you first walk into Universal, it's right there. You know, that
the old nostalgia. I think that's what I think matters. I think like the last bit of MGM Hollywood Studios, when it first opened, is pretty much gone. The only thing now standing there, you know, is Tower of Terror. Pretty much everything has seen a complete revamp in the entire place. Fantasmic aside too, which is the water show there. But besides those two things, the original Hollywood Studios is gone. The tram tour is gone. The New York City place is gone.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is still there. That's the only thing. But the car show, the Epic Sun Show, that's gone. The original Hollywood MGM Studios is gone, and now it's moved on. And again, another one, the Muppets. Muppets had its own area. That's gone too. Now that's going to be going into Rock and Roller Coaster. You know, how are we a fan of the Muppets? Do we like, you know, the Muppets, and do you think that it's going to be okay with this dark themed ride, or do you think it's not going to work out like it did with Aerosmith and Rock and Roller Coaster? Nicole, I'll go to you first. I think she's frozen. Okay, well, we're just losing everybody. So, Brandon, while you're the only one that works now.
Yeah. I'm just in shock that everybody's just dropping so quick. Oh, there she is.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what's going on.
Are you good?
I think my internet briefly went out for some reason.
Okay.
I'm back though.
All right.
I wanted to add something real quick though.
Yeah, go ahead.
After I got off that ride, I texted my parents because they would not have believed me whatsoever because they know how I am. And they literally said, why? Because, like, you know, I don't do roller coasters. I said Aerosmith. Aerosmith's the only reason why I did that. And I even bought the commemorative shirt that said I survived Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh,
well, I mean, at least you have to get the souvenir. My question that I was asking before I go to the next topic was, do we like the Muppets retheme? Do you think it's going to stand a chance? No.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Like you know what it is? Like, it's like, you know, a lot of rides these days are because, like, the rides that are getting replaced are like the more like teen and adult rides, and it's like that replace them with a lot of just like very, you know, kiddie oriented things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in these places now for like the whole family? I guess because I don't feel that anymore. Like,
yeah,
it's like, you know, there's be something for everybody, and now it feels like there's not.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think something like that would survive, because I know
that's fair.
You know, I know the Muppets, everyone knows the Muppets, but it's like, I don't think that would. I just don't see that as surviving. That just seems like too kind of weird
wrong
of a thing
place,
to put there.
wrong
So
time.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, like, why would you close Muppets 3D Vision if you're going to retheme a currently existing ride to something you just got rid of? I mean,
I was just going to say.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Personally, to me, and I love the idea that Monsters Inc. is coming. I think that I like the ride. I like Monsters Inc. I think that's super cool with Disney doing. However, don't we have that existing hotel, which now the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser hotel that now just became Imagineering offices? Like, can we just expand Hollywood Studios like we did with the other parks? Make that Monsters and another pavilion there, and make something else in there. Like, there's so much room where you could explore without taking back the old. Granted, the whole Muppets never had long lines to begin with. It was less than 10 minutes to ride to go watch the show. And there was nothing else in the pavilion besides Pizza Rizzo, the restaurant there. So, I mean, I get why, it's a waste of space. You can move it somewhere else, but keep it there. It was Jim Henson's last project from the Muppets. Like, put it where Stitch's Great Escape is at the Magic Kingdom, which is no longer there. There's so many places that you could keep it, but they didn't. We'll just see what happens with Disney and what they decide to do next.
I think the problem that Disney as a whole is having is I just don't think they know what they want for the future of these parks.
No.
Like just some of these re-themes and ride closures, just it doesn't make any sense, especially for like real, like I don't want to say old, but like long time Disney
Long
enthusiasts.
time, yeah.
Um,
Now, granted, I want to say some do work out okay. Like, I know they're adding Bluey and Bingo to from the BBC show to Animal Kingdom as like a something kids love that. It's become one of the most popular shows in the United States these days. It's being everything, even Stranger Things, which is crazy to think about. So it makes sense to add that. But to close down for rides like Dinosaur, they shut down Dinosaur, and now they're putting, in a Kanto ride, which great show, a great movie, great. They can definitely do stuff, but isn't there other space where you could put that?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't know why there. You had a whole Dinoland shut down pavilion. Isn't that where you can put something without destroying a good ride like Dinosaur? Now, yes, you got rid of the games, but that was something people loved. You go to Animal Kingdom, you could play an arcade game. You feel like you're at the boardwalk, even though you're at a Disney theme park. And you could do it at the Boardwalk Resort, but it's not the same.
Yeah, especially for like younger kids, because like some of the older attractions may terrify young kids. I mean, Dinosaur, granted, is not
one of those, yes,
kid-friendly ride, but like the rest of Dinoland was very young kid friendly.
Yeah, I know Dave would have enjoyed this conversation, and he's not here, and I feel so bad.
I know.
You know what's driving me crazy is or what will drive me absolutely to the earth and cause my head to explode. I really hope I do not want to live in a world where they get rid of It's a Small World.
They'll never do that. I don't think. No.
I think it would be too much backlash.
I seriously hope not, because I'm just like, that would be the most upsetting thing.
100%.
That Disney could do.
Actually, now that you bring that up, I think the most upsetting ride closure, if they ever announce it, which they better not, I'm warning you right now, the Carousel of Progress.
Well, I hate to bring you some bad news, but it's getting a revamp. It's getting a revamp. Disney says that they're going to be adding they're updating the final scene to make it more modernized.
I mean, that makes sense.
But they're also doing this, which I really like. They're adding Walt as the introduction in the beginning. It's an animatronic Walt entering the ride, which I love, because Walt should have been there from the start, because that came from the World's Fair. Walt died before Disney World opened. That should have been there, no question about it. But
if they ever decide to get rid of it completely,
it's gonna be crushing. Absolutely,
you're gonna have to pry me off of the building, because I'm not gonna let it happen.
I was gonna say, like, just the look on your face, I can see your heart just sink.
It's a bad news, I know. But what's sinking to me too is the riverboat. Magic Kingdom, they got rid of that. Yes, not a lot of people ride it, but once in a while it was that escape. Like, oh, I'm on a riverboat in the middle of Magic Kingdom. It was on. It's different, and that's just the nostalgia of Disney. Hearing that steam whistle over and over again. It's still alive right now in the back, but we don't know if Disney's going to just destroy it or use it to make it a restaurant. We don't know what the plan is yet by Disney. They haven't said nothing yet. We don't know if they ever will, but that's something right there. Another Disney thing gone.
What's another one too? You'd have to chain me to the building. Living with the Land.
Yeah, I give you that one too. Living with the Land, just like that's the only place I think I will ever learn about plants and agriculture and all that other fun stuff.
I loved that ride because I love to garden. I love cooking. I love food. That was like my niche.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a very slow educational ride, but I think it was one of my favorite ones at Epcot.
Yeah. By the way, the power play is over, just to let you know, because
now it's just
there's just three of us. Dave, we tried contacting him, but on Messenger, but there's no sign for him.
It's just overtime hockey now.
It's just 3-on-3 overtime for the rest of the way, and it's awesome though. But yeah, a lot of Disney stuff, definitely changing. And one other thing too, before we move off of it, the hotel revamps. Contemporary Resort, as an example, was one of those hotels where it was just, it was Disney, but it wasn't Disney. Now it's an incredible steam. I don't see the match there. Like, if you look at the main concourse, you got that picture on the main by the elevator wall. That doesn't match like Incredibles.
No.
the theme. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there's a mismatch there.
I mean, yeah.
Moana makes sense, perfect, the Polynesian.
Yeah.
But some things are just like it's not making sense. Like some of the themes that they're doing.
I mean, I stayed in Polynesian back in.
Lucky you.
Oh God. It was. I was a kid. It was a family trip. The first time we ever went to Disney, and we stayed at the Polynesian. But this was way before Moana even existed, so I'm not sure what the theming could have been for that in regards to Disney. But I've always thought that the Contemporary never really had a Disney
feel. Well, you know what it did? It did because the monorail.
Yeah, that's like the only thing, though.
That's the only. I think that's what makes it.
Yeah,
Disney,
it is
Disney. Like that's what stands out like to every other hotel and everything else. Yeah. All right. Let's make our last shift change before we go back to hockey. Did anybody listen to Bruno Mars' new album?
I did not. I did not.
Don't get me wrong. I like a few of his songs throughout his career. He's not some, like, to me, he doesn't have replay value. Like, to me, his features are better than his actual songs. So like to me, like, I don't like a lot of his songs. I like his duet with Lady Gaga. I like Die with a Smile.
Yep, of course. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but like, just because it has an old school sound to it, but it's like, but at the same time, just like he's somebody that like he's very versatile, but like it's just like I don't find myself listening to him, and it's like I also kind of feel like if you're fans of him, it's like it would suck to wait that long just for 9 songs.
Yeah.
So like it kind of feels like you're being slighted a little bit, but. You know, I don't know. Like his stuff. I mean, I know his concert here in August is going to be insane.
Oh, 100%. Like Taylor Swift, I guarantee you on that one.
Yeah, I think he even added like a show or two. So I think it was like 4 shows in total or something like that.
I mean, he's so popular. I mean, he grew up like in my generation at least. You know.
Yeah.
But
like, it's crazy. It's just crazy to see that. That's like I understand like his appeal. Just like he's never somebody where it's like he's just like, to me, like I don't listen to a lot of radio friendly music. Like he's very like kind of just a radio guy. I've heard him everywhere since what, maybe I was 11 and 10.
That's like every new artist though. I mean, once you go on the radio, that's it. Your song like is there. But I did listen to his album on the way home Thursday night because he did a radio preview show on the way home from the CNO women's basketball game at 9:00. There was 2 songs that I really liked. Cha 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 is one of his new songs, and I Just Might, of course, is another great one that he had. I'm just a big Bruno fan, and I think if you listen to some of his songs, like Risk It All, it's kind of, if you listen to it closely, it kind of has like a similar soundtrack to Frank Sinatra's My Way. Like if you listen to it, like you will get a comparison. Like this sounds like I'm about to sing Frank Sinatra's My Way. And I was like, when I first heard it, I'm like, this song sounds so familiar, like My Way. Like you hear, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So when you get a chance, listen to it. That song in particular, Risk It All, because it sounds like Frank Sinatra instead of Bruno. And it's got a lot of Puerto Rican influence into it. Anyways.
Oh, I'm liking it already.
Yeah, I know. Off of Bruno. Let's go back to hockey. Before we talk trade deadline, let's talk about the New Jersey Devils. So back into the second half of the season, they start off 1-2. Love the Stadium Series jersey. I did go to the Stadium Series, and I'm happy that I went. That was an awesome time. Even though I froze, I'm sure you froze, Nicole. Did you go, Brandon?
I went. I froze my sister. Yeah. It was a day before my birthday too, so I was like, oh, great birthday present. Oh wait, it's like negative 15
degrees. Well, you know what? It's the experience that matters, and we were there and we witnessed the moment. But that was pretty cool, though. Remember that Stadium Series? It was like that. It still got the photos of it touching the Stanley Cup being there, and then, and then it felt like Jersey, the Garden State.
Oh yeah,
you know, the park feeling.
I was gonna say that poster right there, that's from the game. They only made 300 of those. So
wow.
I have that one. So
which number do you have?
That is, hold on. That one is it's actually almost towards the end. That number is 254.
Wow.
So I got it just before they got rid of them.
That's
I have the game copy book in the back. And then I also bought the T-shirt, which I don't have on because it just came from work again. But but yeah, that was a fun stadium series, and I love when they do stadium series like that, and they can't fail on that. I mean, they've done pretty good ones these past couple years. It's really exciting when you get to see hockey outdoors or hockey in a different place, and I think we gained pretty good viewership that stadium series because it was in the New York, New Jersey area, and people love that. And it was at MetLife Stadium, a stadium where the Super Bowl happened, the World Cup could happen, all the biggest artists you could think of performed on that ugly turf grass thing, whatever you call it. But yeah, that's what made it cool. But Devils, they're 1-2 to start the second half of the season. They got a victory yesterday versus St. Louis. That was a big one. But Jack Hughes hasn't done a whole lot. Maybe he's still in Olympics mode. Do you think Jack is going to eventually do something? And what do we think the Devils are going to do towards the remaining second half of the stretch? It looks like playoffs are not going to be possible this year, and just the way that everything's been going. But can the Devils do anything positive for the fans this second half? Nicole, I'll go with you.
God.
Yeah.
I personally think that the only way the playoffs would be possible if the Devils played every game perfectly and won every game outright, which we know is not going to happen. Personally, on the Jack note, he's probably really exhausted from all that's happened this past week with the Olympics and everything and all the attention that he's getting. So I don't expect him to be 100% there. I mean, he's probably really tired. So I'm hoping that with some good rest that maybe he could spark some type of positive end of the season, maybe get some more points, more goals, something like that. I just don't know. I think that, like I said this from the beginning, the Devils always start off really strong. Everyone's really happy, oh, they're going to be playoff bound. We have a chance this year. I always say, wait for the Christmas slump. Christmas slump happens every year, and then they can't get out of that hole. And it's really sad because this team is so talented individually, but they just can't gel together. And it's crazy because I was comparing it to the U.S. Olympic team. These guys don't play with each other on a daily basis, yet they came out on top.
Yeah.
The Devils and all the other NHL teams, they play with each other pretty much all the time. Colorado's doing something right, obviously, because they're first place in the league.
Well,
but what's going on with us? You got all these superstars and nothing's just working. Especially in particular, why can't we get open net goals? How many open net goals have we missed these last 3 games alone?
I can go down the list, but I'd be here all night, and we don't have that type of time. I do want to report a penalty. Dave has received a misconduct for poor Wi-Fi, and he will no longer be joining us. He's been out for the game. He's got that misconduct. So we're down a player now in overtime. No more. So we really have to.
We're missing our goalie.
We're missing the goalie. The goalie's out.
Really, we're missing our goaltender.
The goalie's out. He's got a misconduct that who knows where Scoop is and if he'll ever join us.
I'm gonna have to ask Brett Pesci on a penalty kill and just block everything at this point.
But yeah, so he's a game misconduct. He's out. Brandon, what are your thoughts about the Devils? What a strange twist.
Yeah, I really thought this season was going to be a real. I mean, we all thought that kind of, at least for a little bit coming into it when they started off. What was it, 8-1, 9-1?
Yeah,
and it was they were the hottest team in the league for pretty much 2 or 3 weeks, and then just out of nowhere, once Jack got hurt, the entire team went down with him.
Yep.
And it's crazy how one player can affect so much.
Everything.
It happens in other sports, but it just seems like whenever Jack goes down specifically, if it's anybody else, this team probably isn't like this. But it seems like when he goes down, that team just poof, it's done. And it sucks. It sucks for the team, but it sucks for him too because I mean he's so talented. We know he could be 100-point guy every year if it just wasn't for the injuries. And I mean, even coming back, we kept saying, "Oh, it's going to take a while for him to find himself." And I think the biggest thing that I think about as to why everybody's like, oh, he's coming back, he's not quite himself yet, or he's not quite doing what he did in the Olympics. I'm like, yeah, because the Olympics team is filled with a bunch of Hall of Famers. It's a bunch of guys that know their assignments, are very smart hockey players, and are very like they might not play with each other often, but they're so talented they almost kind of don't have to. They kind of just know each other's tendencies and how each other likes to play. Um, like you might be going into a blind if you're somebody like like a younger guy on that team.
Yeah.
But like Jack knows how those guys play. Jack knows how Boldy would play. Jack knows how Quinn, obviously his brother, would play. Like so like even if the cohesion doesn't seem like it would be there, I mean these guys are all at the top of their games. They know full well what their strengths and weaknesses are and how to play to that. This Devils team does not. It still feels like that they don't know, they don't know how to really get Timo Meier going every year now. I mean, God, look how long it took for him for years. They would not put him. This is going back to Lindy Ruff. They wouldn't put him. They wouldn't put him on the power play 1 unit. It was like, why is Timo on the PP2 when he has a rocket of a shot and he's super talented? I'm like, that guy should be on the first power play unit. There's no reason why he's on the second. And then when they had put him on the first, he was scoring goals.
Yep.
So I'm like, gee, funny how that works. The rest of us can see it, and you idiots can't. Yep. And then you get to things like you get to this year, like these guys have talent. It's just that talent seems to waver. It's not consistent. Yeah. It's like it almost seems like their preparation, like everything about this franchise in general is inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's like, we spent last time talking about how bad the ownership and GM are, but from a player standpoint, it's crazy to me that you have so many guys who were all-stars at one point in their career. You have guys who were 30-point goal scorers at one point in their career, or 30 goal scorers. And these guys are struggling to hit 15, 20 goals. Some of these guys are disappearing for a month and a half at a time. Yeah. And it's like you guys have talent, but the biggest problem is it's just like it's almost like and I said this last time, but the effort level isn't there every night. And I don't know why, because other teams are playing sometimes, like they're playing how many games? Like they're playing like 4 games in 5 days and they're just fine and they can win 4 straight games. And then this team can play 4 games in 5 days and lose all 4 of them. And it's like I don't understand where the effort level is. And especially when you saw the first like 2 or 3 weeks of the season, I mean, everybody's getting adjusted as the season goes on. So maybe that was it. Maybe just there was an adjustment period that we didn't see coming. But I don't like how because we know this team is not going to go anywhere this year, but it's just sad that, looking at it and everybody's like, oh, well, Jack is struggling. Well, it's like, yeah, of course, Jack only has 1 point in 3 games since the break.
Of course.
He's got all the stuff, all the commitments he's got going on, but this team is not the Olympic team. Like, he's having to pass the puck to guys like Paul Cotter. Like, and don't get me wrong, Paul Cotter's not a bad player, but it's not who he was working with in the Olympics. Team. So, like that, and that's why us as fans, we get on the ownership, and Fitz as GM. Like, can you make any moves early? Not now because it's over, but stop making moves late in the season and calling these, season-changing moves when we know this team's not going anywhere. Make these moves before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because every year, this team is sitting on their hands. They get into a Christmas slide, and they're still not making moves. And Fitz is like, oh, yeah, we checked in on this guy. Or we checked in on that guy. Make a damn move. I don't care who you have to move. You won't get better being complacent and idle.
Yeah.
So, you can't keep saying, oh, we believe in the town here. We like all the guys here. All the guys are only in their 20s. Yeah, but these guys have been together for 6 to 8 years already.
Yeah.
When are you going to actually build this team?
Yep.
Like,
my point is, I want to bring up is Jack talked on Friday about a brotherhood with Team USA, but not yet once did he mention that there is this brotherhood with the New Jersey Devils and the players and the teammates. Does he hate it in Jersey, or does he want to stay in Jersey but want certain players there? Because it's starting to make the picture starting to make sense now. We almost had an opportunity to get Quinn Hughes. We didn't get Quinn Hughes. Every media interview he's had, he's disappointed. He's angry. He's not happy. But yet all of a sudden he plays in the Olympics, and now he's like best friends with everybody. Brotherhood is born. Now they're talking about golf events in summer. Like, that's what I'm curious to know. Do you think he hates being a New Jersey Devil? Does he want to go somewhere else? That's what I'm starting to think of, because he hasn't done much. He's worried about being on the Tonight Show, Saturday Night Live, and all these other things, yet not focusing on the Devils itself. And he's yet to bring up that this is a brotherhood. Does he hate being a New Jersey Devil? That's my question.
I don't think he so-and-so hates being a Devil, because, I mean, the Devils are what brought him
to
success.
Life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is where he got his NHL start. I think, personally, it could be every team, there's always some type of locker room drama.
Of course.
I mean, it's no question that Jack is kind of the leader of this team, even though Nico has the
Nico, I would say, but he's second in command,
Yeah. If ownership and management want Jack to thrive, and they don't want to lose their face of the franchise, I think they need to start stepping up and giving him what he needs to succeed, or else he's going to request a trade out of here, as well as Luke.
Well, I would say it's not about the money. No. I think it's just about being with the right players. And quite honest with you, even though Luke was not part of the Olympic team, Luke was not mentioned once. Like, Luke was like almost like the third wheel, like forgotten. The forgotten child. Like, we forget he's a New Jersey Devil. Forget that he's the brother of Quinn and Jack. So I don't even know if they even have like that relationship. Like, it seems like that Quinn and Jack have. That's just me. But I don't know. To me, I just think that he doesn't have the right players. Every time, even on a win, he's not like a happy guy like he was in McAfee. Again, I understand that's a chill show compared to media straight interview. I get that 1,000%. But just, there's something telling me that he wants out of New Jersey, that he doesn't like it here. He'd rather be with one of the guys or a couple of the guys from that Olympic team on the NHL level. Maybe he'll actually perform better because of that. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking, because if that's all he kept talking about this week, this brotherhood, why is it not showing before the Olympics? And quite frankly, even these past 3 games heading into the rest of the NHL season, why is it we're still talking about the Olympics? Move along.
I'm trying to think that, like, I don't think he hates it here. And that speech he gave coming out of the Olympics showed how much, being a
But was it a marketing thing, though?
I don't think so. I mean, because the thing is, like, it's one thing to give a speech like that, but then you can also see how choked up he was.
Yes, but he was choked up on every interview, though, that he was on for the first couple of days. The NBC interview, the moment he scored the goal, he was in tears.
Yeah.
Drunk as a skunk. He was he was crying and being all emotional. Pat McAfee, he was emotional, but again, maybe it's the two too, because even though he wasn't emotional on McAfee, the two made it seem like he was ready to cry on McAfee.
Yeah.
So
you can see it like in his eyes. And the thing is like, because before this too, like you can just see like that like there wasn't, like, he kind of looked like dead behind the eyes. But any superstar player, and I hate when there's people out there like, oh, he's not a star. I'm like, but he's more than a point per game when he's healthy. He just needs to stay healthy. His biggest question mark has always been his health, never his skill.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's any star player on any team would be frustrated when the team sucks as bad as we do, plain and simple. And it's just, I can't imagine like I always say, like, I'm decent, I'm pretty decent at like being an empathizer, not really a sympathizer, but an empathizer, where it's like, so if I put myself in his shoes and I'm looking at the team around me and I'm like, well, I have one of my brothers here Should have had my other brother here, so that's pissing me off. But then like we talk about Dougie and the attitude issues that we've heard about.
Yep.
We hear about that guys were they just felt some type of way knowing that they could have been traded for Quinn. But I'm like, yeah, but you guys are not Quinn Hughes. You guys are a bunch of guys either past your prime or you're not good.
Yep.
So I don't care about your feelings. This is a business. And
exactly.
And the fact that this front office and ownership made this whole big stink about like, oh, we care about the guy's feelings, but you can't mix feelings up with business.
No, you actually bring up a really good point. I was watching, not to change topics.
No, go for it.
Shift change.
It's shift change.
I have been watching a lot of the Tkachuk brothers podcast. They did an Olympic one, and my YouTube just keeps cycling through them.
Of course.
Matt was talking with Brady about when he was traded from Calgary to Florida. He mentioned, he was kind of sad about it at first, but then, he was hearing things that front office was saying about him, like, oh, this is going to make our team so much better without him. He was like, screw you. Like, what happened to that?
Yeah.
So I could kind of see it. There's a shift in what the Devils see things as versus what some of these other teams do. They're not as attached to these players as the Devils are, and I think that's the problem. You can't be attached.
You know what it is too, and it doesn't help the image of the fact that we always hear on social media, because we see it under all the times that 1-0 them and then us losing and all this different stuff. And even I've said this about the team, but this team has a lot of soft players on it.
Yep.
Yes.
There's no hockey players.
No question.
For as skilled as Jesper Bratt is, why does he go ghost for a month and a half in terms of goal scoring? For as much of a captain as Nico might be in terms of all the good qualities he has, he's not vocal enough. He looks like he's sat on the bench. I'm like, you're a hockey player. Pick your team up. When your team sees your captain sulking in misery, it doesn't do anybody any good. So and then you can go down the list. Dougie's bad attitude.
Yeah.
When Plot was here, good guy, but bad contract. That was a problem. You can go down the list of guys. And it's just,
you could even go down the list of what we don't have as a team. We don't have a true enforcer that's going to stand up for our guys when they get thrown around all the time.
When we did try to get that, they got the wrong guy because they went and got Curtis McDermott.
Yeah, really.
I'm like, that's an enforcer to you?
They got someone at the last minute to stand up to Matt Rempe. That's literally the only reason why they did it.
Yeah, but is that you're playing him 4 times? Yeah, okay, great. But what's the goal? Him? Or are we focused on the Stanley Cup? What's the goal?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are going to be guys like Matt Rempe out there, not as physical and fight worthy like him, but there are gonna be guys like him out there.
Yeah.
We need to focus not just about the local team across the river, even though that's the one game that the Devils care about the most.
Yep.
As fans, at least. We need to focus on the bigger picture. What does the bigger picture say? What do we have to do right? And that's just about mine. And speaking of this whole trade deadline, the trade deadline's coming up on March 6th, coming up very shortly.
Yep.
What do we think about it? The trade deadline coming up. What are the big moves you think that's going to happen? What are your takes on this?
So NHL media, NHL Network, I should say, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
They posted the teams to watch ahead of the deadline. And it's kind of interesting to me how there's some teams that are definitely missing on this list that should be there. So on the list, we have the Utah Mammoth. We have the Anaheim Ducks. We got the Minnesota Wild. We got the Detroit Red Wings. We got the San Jose Sharks. And we got the New York Islanders. Why is Minnesota still on there? They've got Quinn.
That's not the answer, though. Quinn's not the answer.
No.
And I think I've said this all along, and I don't think that having one of the 2 Hughes brothers will be the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, frankly, we have 2 of the Hughes brothers. And too much. So I think Quinn is the better of the 3, but I don't think that that's going to be what Minnesota needs, though.
No.
I think Minnesota can do a lot more. Now, I'm also quite shocked, too, if you look at the you bring up the Minnesota Wild because just look at the standings. I mean,
yeah,
like they're in third place right now in
yeah. Why are
the
they on the trade deadline list?
in the Western Conference. Like
Yeah.
teams that should be on the trade deadline list. Can we look at the overall
Vancouver
picture?
Canucks. Hello.
Obviously, well, that's number one, but
Yeah.
not just the Vancouver Canucks. The Devils, the Rangers were second to last place.
Why aren't those
the
teams
Rangers,
not
St.
on the
Louis, who we
radar?
just played as well, and this is a Devils team that just beat St. Louis too, and they've been having problems. Like, look at the game we just had. 3-1 was the final score against the Devils team. We're both tied second to last. Why? There's so many other teams that can name that should be on there, and even the Islanders. They're what, sixth place right now in the Eastern Conference. That's still a wild card worthy, I believe, if not mistaken. It's still an opportunity for them.
They're currently in third in the Metro.
Yeah.
Like in terms, in the Metro.
In third Metro, but like in terms of Eastern Conference, though, sixth place.
They're currently in the playoffs, technically, if the playoffs started tomorrow.
If the playoffs started tomorrow, right. Which we have to start looking at that because it really is a month away. We're about couple weeks away from March Madness, a couple weeks away from, Stanley Cup playoffs and NBA playoffs begin. But, these teams, they're surprising me that, this list that you just brought up. And what are your thoughts on this, Brandon, on the list that you just gave moments ago?
I just wish, like, I'm like not thinking about those teams on the list, but just the ones that are off it, like the ones that really need help or need to clear, some contracts and whatnot. Like when I look, especially at us and this deadline, I'm like, to me, with the exception of maybe a handful of, not I shouldn't say handful, hockey team not that big, but with the exception with a few guys, everybody to me is movable. I don't care.
Yeah,
like
it's fair.
I know, like our fan base, I know they have so many, like, oh, they love that's one thing I think I see more in our fan base, maybe just because we're Devils fans and I don't see it in others, but our fan base has such weird obsessions with like some of the worst players possible.
Yeah.
I'm like when Brendan Smith was here, like there was a large group of Devils fans that loved him. I'm like, for what? He doesn't do anything. Like,
you either love the guy in New Jersey or you hate the guy.
Yeah.
There's no in between. There's no, I kind of like him, but I don't kind of like him.
Yeah.
But honestly, one of those guys, kind of say this often, Jackie's, I love the guy, but like, for everything he's doing, right now, media, for what he says, what he does outside of the Devils, when it comes to playing hockey with the Devils, and that's just like baseball and Aaron Judge. Can't stand Aaron Judge postseason. Love him in the regular season. Think he's one of the greatest in regular season. Postseason though, can't stand him.
Well, he helped buck that trend last season.
Yeah, last year broke that trend last year. We'll see what happens this year though. But that's just known for that's what he's known for doing, not winning the World Series though. What's the goal? Like, World Series or just winning a couple regular season games, setting records, maybe making a win or two in the playoffs, and we'll call it a day.
That was why I never got too hype about us, having 2 years ago or 3 or almost now 3 under Lindy Ruff when they set the points record for most points in franchise history in regular season. And I'm like, okay, that's good and all, but this team is still not a good enough hockey team to win a cup. I don't care about all these records that they're setting in the franchise.
And I've been saying that.
Like, because it's like at the same time, the only thing that was good for was second in the Metro and third or fourth overall in the conference. And I'm like, so you're not the best team in your own conference. Like, you might be one of the best teams in the Metro, but you're not the best team in your own conference. You're definitely not going to win a Stanley Cup being the 8th best team in hockey.
No, you can't.
So it's like, and I see people always saying, oh, well, like, they'll never win a President's Trophy. I'm like, well, there's that President's Trophy curse too.
Yeah, so that's what I was just going to bring up. There's 2 things about hockey that you in every team's list every year, and there's 2 goals. Don't ever get first place in the NHL because of the President's Trophy curse. That's your number 1 goal. Never become first and become the best team. Second, win a Stanley Cup. That should be the goals every single year. Those 2 things. Don't win the Presidents, but win a Stanley Cup. Those should be the goals in the back of your head. Not, okay, let's compete. Let's have a good season. Let's make our fans proud. You know what? I'll make it to play up a run or 2. I don't care. What about the Stanley Cup? That should be the goal. And especially a team like the New Jersey Devils that has had so many opportunities and so many great players over the course of the years, but nothing's done. Nothing.
And that's and that's what's sad about some of the years we've had, like this year with the hot start, or with with 2 years ago. We thought after that Stadium Series game they were going to go on a run. They were only like 3 points out of a playoff spot.
It was an opportunity.
Yeah, they were getting.
That was the motivation.
They were getting hot at the right time, and then the second they came off that high of the Stadium Series, it fell apart again. Yep. It was like,
I think the weather had to do a big factor.
Oh,
well, yeah, maybe. But it was like it's like every time this team starts to make us believe, they ruin their own momentum just by from top to bottom. Not good ownership, not inspiring the guys, not being a good GM. I mean, like
and doing so good in the regular season in the beginning, but then falling apart. You get every year, and even on like the radio show, like I listened to Elvis Duran in the morning. They were talking about the Devils in that run. In the beginning. A couple of years ago, they were talking about that 4-game winning streak was like record-setting, whatever. They were doing amazing. It's like, stop doing this. Like, we lose when we're good. Like, we have like a horrible history when we do so good, because then it just backfires in the long run. But people don't understand that from a Devils perspective.
And
like,
you know what it is. Like,
I hate when we win in that many games in a row. Like, I hate to say it, but it's like, can we lose a game? Like, I've been saying that like so many times. I think I was texting you, Nicole, about that. Like, can we start losing games? Because I just have that feeling that we're gonna get cursed and we're not gonna win any games. We're gonna miss the playoffs because
what makes me angry too is like every time that this team gets hot, I'm like, or like when we talk about before Christmas, or even if they're in the rare times that they're hot after Christmas, like the latest you should wait to make moves is around New Year's.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't make moves until February and March, the season's over.
Yeah. Yes. So, unless you're a contender for the cup.
Unless you're a contender looking for one more piece.
But if you're not a contender for the cup, just start losing more games and getting, I would say better draft position, but it's a lottery. But try to get your lottery, I guess.
It's like it's just so bad where it's like, and so like when this team gets on a run, the front office thinks that everything's fine because they're winning, and it's like, no, you can see the cracks in this team and where the problems are, and by you thinking that winning is just going to magically fix it, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Like when you get to a point where you're winning a bunch of games, do you know why good teams stay winning? They add to it. They don't just sit back. So it's like, like that's the problem I had, like real quick, dipping into football. When everybody was like the Washington Commanders were going to be so great this past season, and they fell flat on their face.
I was one of those believers. I saw that they had it, yeah.
And I said it before the season started, and Scoop knows this, and Rob knows this. All the football guys know this. Where I said to them before the season started, I don't like this roster. All they're doing is running it back with the exact same team they had last year. And by the way, at that time, it was the oldest roster in the NFL currently.
Yes. Yep.
So I said there's no way this team is going to outdo or get even close to what they did last year. Sure enough, they fell flat on their face, only won a few games. Jaden Daniels got hurt twice, 2 or 3 times, and it just imploded. And I'm like, okay, well, and then funny enough, guess who runs that team? Josh Harris.
Oh, I know. Guess who he's also part of? New Jersey Devils, the Sixers, and what else is new? But
man.
I believed in the Commanders. I want to go back to football. I know. I'm sorry, Nicole. I want to just go to.
Keep going. It's good.
I had to talk about the Commanders because I had belief in them because, like the President's Trophy, there is a curse in the NFC East. Usually there's no repeating division winner. And I said to myself, okay, let's eliminate the Dallas Cowboys because. They did not. I'm sorry, Nicole. They just did not. They didn't have the right people from the start. I said they're not. They don't.
Dallas is in its own
They're their own league. They deserve its own league.
I can't complain. I've had it good the last few years.
Oh, I know you've had it good.
Philly fan.
Damn right.
You're a diehard Philly fan.
Philly was like, okay, maybe they'll be good, but knowing their luck, they'll mess it up somehow and they'll end up second place. We'll see how that goes. And then the Giants, I'm like. Russell Wilson was a starting quarterback. I never had faith in that. I never Russell Wilson being a starter in New York. So I said, you're right, let's eliminate them. They're out of the picture. This is before the Jackson Dart era began.
Yep.
So I had to eliminate them. So I was like, the only team left is the Commanders. I was like, if we look at Texans, CJ Stroud, he had a decent year coming off his second year. Wasn't his first year the best year, but he still made a run for the money. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I think Jaden Daniels has it. I mean, the miracle with the Bears. I'm like, this team has it. It's like I have that feeling. I didn't, think it through and everything, but yeah, worst decision ever. But it's okay.
Then he went down with injury, and there goes
injury, and there goes that. Kind of like the Devils.
Yep.
Jack Hughes.
Yep.
Injured, then goes to the Olympics and then becomes American hero.
It's like
the
turnaround. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. Did you notice like he doesn't have that wrap on his hand anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, he also did play how many games in the Olympics and then made how many TV appearances?
Like 7. So... But like that, remember pre-Olympics, he was still wearing some type of wrap under his glove.
It's the alcohol in the Italy that
he wasn't feeling anything.
Where's the medication, I should say.
Oh man, like
nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
You know the joke.
But it's like it just comes back to when we talk about this team and this specific deadline, where it's like, there's so many holes here, and I'm not saying you have to make massive moves because this season doesn't matter, but you got to think big picture, like we keep saying. You got to think about the future. Like, your core is not – I mean, they're not old, but they're not getting younger. They're not 19, 20-year-old kids anymore.
No.
25, 26, 27 years. They should be in their prime. They should be getting at least – like, if not winning the cup, they should at least be competing hard every night, making the playoffs every season or at least every other, and making runs, getting 2 or 3 rounds deep into the playoffs.
They should be like Connor McDavid, making it to the Stanley Cup final but never winning it.
I mean,
always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, and I love that saying.
I know
that saying. I've heard that saying for years since I was a kid, and I love using that saying because it's like it shows that even the greatest don't get those lucky bounces and things like that. But it's like I think about this team, and like I said, with this core, and they've been, this started back in 2016, 2017. So in almost a decade, they have played only 3 rounds of playoff hockey.
Yep.
That's just not good enough by any measure.
You can't do that. That's just the bottom line. But
and the worst part is we talk about we talk about the curse with Carolina, how we don't beat Carolina.
I was just gonna say they're tough teams that will be playing the Eastern Conference. Yeah, that's the thing. Carolina's the one team that will always be good those first couple rounds, but never when it matters in the finals.
You play them every year, so when it gets to the playoffs, I don't get why this team can't compete against them. You play them every, and the thing is, their system doesn't change. Their coach doesn't. The coaching staff doesn't change. It's the same thing.
And that's just that's another team too that just doesn't. That always makes the playoffs, but never goes far. Never aims to win a cup. It's sad. Eventually, I really hope for the Carolina people that they actually do get a cup soon. Because I mean, how many more times? It's like the Yankees. They go to the playoffs every year. Nothing in the World Series.
And the hype in Carolina when they do make the playoffs, the atmosphere.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh my goodness, I would love that in Jersey. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to one playoff game, I think, my whole life because I joined Devils, banned them late, and that was when the Devils were never good. Went to one playoff game, and I remember just the atmosphere being great, but not. Oh my gosh, this is an NHL playoff hockey game. I think it was the Devils Rangers. That was the hockey game I went to for the playoffs.
Oh boy.
Okay, we're just waving the towels around. The energy's building up, but then the Rangers score the first goal.
Yeah.
The towels are put in the pants.
Gone. Yeah.
Did you have any
see them again inside the pockets?
Did you have any drunk Rangers fans harassing you?
No, actually, I think it might have won, but no, it was pretty good though. I think
even though the Devils were losing, my sister and I were still optimistic, and we had some really inappropriate Rangers fans going after us for no reason. Well, that got really bad.
But that's what it matters. But it was like a 5-1 game. I think it was game 2. I believe I went to.
Yeah.
Oh, we got killed.
We got killed that game. Yeah. It was.
Was it I think I was a senior that year.
That was what? What was that? 20.
That was 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
I was at game 2. I was there.
That was the 22-23 season. So yeah,
I was at that game.
Yeah,
we got blown out.
It was just like the atmosphere was like doing good, and all of a sudden it's like,
yep,
what just happened?
I wanted to
And
go
then
to game
Akira
7
Schmid comes
It's such like
through.
Carolina with the the horn and everything.
Yeah.
And Carolina's got that history. I mean, you had to say a Boney Driver be their goalie for the day. I mean,
that was amazing.
That was awesome. I love that. So
Like,
that's another great hockey memory.
Like you know what's crazy is and it's a shame that we have a team so close to the NYC area, because that means that every damn fan around here is a Rangers fan.
Yeah.
So like it's a shame that and the Rangers haven't won anything longer than we have.
Since 1994, they've never had white glove service. Just a FYI, the Devils have had it 3 times.
No matter what, though, as a Devil fan, you never want to see a New York team succeed unless you're the Islanders, because nobody really cares too much about
no one. Yeah.
They're not like the Rangers, but you don't want to see the Rangers ever succeed, because that would be the most gut-wrenching thing in the world. That would be like, you can't sleep at night. If you're like one of those true Devils fans, like that goes like every single game, you won't be able to sleep at night knowing that the Rangers just won a Stanley Cup before you guys.
Do not jinx it. Do not jinx it.
I'm not jinxing it this year. I mean, they're both in last place. They're not doing nothing this year, but
it's great.
I mean, for the future.
For the future, of course. Well, that's a different argument for a different day. But Brandon, you had something to say? I'm sorry.
No, it's like even when the Rangers had their little run, what was it, a year or two ago, whatever it was,
when they made it to the Cup Finals.
Yeah, and I was literally the biggest hater ever, and of course, and then like everybody in my New York sports chat was like, oh, why are you hating? I'm like, it's Devils Rangers.
Hello.
Like, of course I'm gonna hate watch you. And then when you guys lost, I'm like, thank you.
And I'm kind of jealous though. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the Rangers. I'm jealous they got 2 players though. Igor Shesterkin's a really good goaltender.
Igor deserves a better team.
Igor deserves a better team.
I've been saying
Matt Rempe though, although he's not the greatest at like hockey, the fights he puts on.
But that's all he does.
But that's all he does is fight. Yeah, he's like watching him skate and play is like watching a baby gazelle, baby deer try to walk. But it's like for some reason he's able to just skate right at somebody, just take them right off their feet, and then all of a sudden here goes a big fight.
But that's what's awesome about it though. And man, would I love to have him on Team USA. If we had fighting involved, if we had fighting involved in hockey and the Olympics were granted 4 nations, man, would I love
because Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid, they're not splitting the defense coming over the middle. Nope, Matt Rempe is right there. He's gonna crush you.
Oh, I would love it though. If we had fighting and all that, man, that would be the greatest thing ever.
I mean, I get why they don't do it, because you're not you're a product of your country for those 2 weeks, but you have your team owns your rights, and they want to keep you safe and all this stuff.
That's what hockey's about though. And just imagine though, like if we had 4 nations face off again this year, and when fighting was allowed, 3 fights in 9 seconds, Matthew Tkachuk going at it, and then you have him going at it. It's like, wouldn't that be a story to tell? That's like the hockey gods coming together and say, here is our gift to you for watching all this hockey. Like, this is what our fans dreamed of,
God, I mean, I even said to Rob, I said I wish there was more fighting in the Olympics, but I
understand, but still. Yeah. And there's a great point brought up this weekend too on my show Sports Mano Mano I do on Saturday mornings. They, started like, okay, maybe they should do 4 nations next year. But there was a good point that brought up, if they do it every year, does it eventually wear out or die out, where nobody would want to care about the history of Team USA, the history of Team Canada? But again, this is different. 4 nations face off versus Olympics hockey, because again, the fighting is involved, and of course, different rules. But I guess you could argue it was a great point that maybe we would get tired of it. But at the same time, too, is the players don't seem to get tired of it, because they're booking PGA golf tours. I'll say that again, because again, we're talking about this brotherhood that Jack Hughes mentioned on the Pat McAfee show, and maybe I guess that's why they're not going to try to do it every so often. We don't know the plan for next year, but still.
Yeah. I saw another person on Twitter bring that up too, that same point about how it's like, if you play it so often, it's going to lose its meaning. And I'm kind of on that side too. Like, I get everybody saying like, oh, we want to see it and the players want to do it, and I get that. But I'm just also like, it, it's like, too much of a good thing is bad for you eventually. Yeah. So like, where I'm just like, the more we're going to see it, the more people eventually will lose it. Like, even though it doesn't seem like it, everybody's saying, right now, oh no, we're not going to lose interest. But eventually you do. It just happens to everybody. It's going to happen if you keep doing it that way. So to me, it's like, I get the excitement for it, and I love, watching more like country hockey.
Of course, yeah.
But at the same time, for me, I'm just like, I like it the way it is because
it's different
and it means more.
Yeah.
So, like, like because think about it this way: if you had all these guys playing for their countries every year, pretty much, and like we talk about like Jack Hughes, Olympic hero, Connor Hellebuck, Olympic hero, like that same sentiment wouldn't be the case if it was every year.
That's true.
So like
because it's too is
special.
Majority of the time though, Canada will likely win it though.
Oh yeah.
Canada has a much better and healthy roster compared to the U.S. Granted, they didn't win this year because no Sidney Crosby, but still.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, because the U.S. and Canada are clearly the two best hockey countries. So it's like,
of course.
So it's like, how often, like, my God, like everybody, eventually everybody gets tired of of like those big battles, like like Cleveland and Golden State in the finals every year in the NBA. It was like everybody eventually got worn out.
It's different though between the NBA and the Olympics and like USA and Canada, because Canada, USA, that's just been the history all along every year. It's not the same in Warriors and Cavaliers.
Yeah.
It's just that's basketball. Basketball, like how much same guys, sorry, LeBron James, Steph Curry, it doesn't much change. The rosters though, they changed though in USA and everything else.
Yeah. Like that's what where my mindset is, and I'm like, because I'm thinking of, if you did that every year and it's the US and Canada every year, like then we hear the same talking points every year, where it's like eventually to me it would just go dull. And like, because it's like when you have this every 4 years, or you have the four nations, every other year, whatever it is, it just means a little more. And the thing is, that's also why the level of play is also better. Of course. Like, because guys are extra motivated. And I feel like, they might want to do it every year, but just like, it's cool to have that pride in your country, just for that little point in time. And then, hey, 4 years, go defend it again.
Yep.
Like it, because it's like, it's kind of like those things where, people will say like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can't say every year, if it's like US and Canada at the end every year, you're not going to have like those like headlines where you look back on it, like the whole, where were you when this happened? Like we can say now, or we can say, 2 or 3 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever it is, where were you when Jack Hughes scored the golden goal? Where were you watching? Where were you? Like, if you played every year, it's like, okay, we're expecting the same two teams every year, or we're expecting it. It might not happen, but we're expecting the same two teams every year. We're expecting the same players every year. We're expecting the same, kind of that back and forth, grinded out type of game every year, where it's like, okay, eventually you're gonna get tired. Like, like it's like I'm saying, too much of a good thing is bad for you. Like, it seems fun, the idea of it. But then the more I think about it, I'm just like, I'm like, it would lose too much of its luster for me, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts from you guys before we wrap it up? Nicole?
I don't think so.
All right.
Unless Nikki's got something.
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Well, on behalf of Dave, who got misconduct from today, Brandon, Nicole, and myself, Elijah, we thank you all for joining us. Be sure to join us for our next episode of Shift Change. And in the words of Aerosmith, dream on and have a great